afternoon. I'm Louise Floyd Cole, President of the Okolona Section of the National Council of Negro Women. Our NCNW is partnering with Good Health Wins to help get people in our community educated and about the vaccine available for the COVID-19. Ms. Stella Smith heads our Good Health Wins project here in Okolona, and at this time, she's going to talk to you about what we're doing for the month of September. Stella?
Through the Good Health Win initiative, Okolona Section of National Council of Negro Women presenting Surviving COVID for the month of September. And not only are we going to do that, we are going to canvass in the community to identify those who have not taken that vaccine. Right now, we have two ladies here who will give you their experience on surviving COVID experiencing.
Hi, Mary Helen Collins. I had COVID March of 2020, and when I had it, the doctors, they really didn't even know too much about it, but I experienced a bad experience with it. My oxygen level dropped. I had diarrhea and couldn't stop diarrhea and didn't know why. And my husband, I carried him to the doctor 4 different times before they would even keep him. They was telling him that he had sinus infection. Second time I carried him, they say he had strep throat. And he kept getting sicker and sicker. And the 4th time I carried him, they kept him. And on a Thursday night, I carried him, and they wouldn't let me go in with him. And I had to sit out there in the car 7 hours before they would let me know anything about him. And I came home, and I felt sick. And on Sunday night, I was hospitalized. And I had stayed in the hospital. They really didn't even know too much about it when we were sick. And they just gave me an IV and sent me home on the 4th day. But after I got home, they called and told me that I had COVID. And when I got home, my girls was telling me that they had called and said they had to put my husband on the ventilator. And all while I stayed in the hospital those 3 days, I would ask the nurses to let me know how my husband was doing. Nobody never would tell me anything. So the day I got dismissed, I asked the doctor if I could visit with him. And by the time they let me go visit with him, then dialysis came. His kidneys had failed. And dialysis came in, I had to leave out. So I really didn't get a chance to spend any time with him until the night when his blood pressure had dropped when he was dying. They let 2 people come that night. Kim and I went up there that night. And then he lived from that night. We went about 10 o'clock, and we stayed up there till about 11 o'clock. And when we came back, he lived to the next morning. But they didn't even know what to do when we had the COVID. And I thank the Lord that I made it through, but he didn't make it through with it. I went through a lot with him, and when he passed, they really, the funeral home people didn't know how to handle COVID. So they was only telling us that there's only 10 people, which that wasn't enough to cover myself and my children and grandchildren to go, because it was more than 10 people. But anyway, by the grace of God, I made it, and I thank the Lord that he saved me. Yes.
Yes, I have a question. Mary Helen, when did you all come down with the COVID?
We came down with the COVID March the 19th when I knew I had it.
When you knew you had
Of 2020.
March 19th of 2020.
Yes.
Okay. At that time, did the hospital know very much, or did the doctors and nurses know very much about COVID-19?
No, they did not.
Okay. Well, have you been vaccinated since then?
Yes, and I encourage everybody to take the vaccine.
Great. Your children, have they been vaccinated?
Yes.
Great. Thank you.
Thank
It's
you.
wonderful.
Hello, I'm Esther Bogan, and I'm a COVID survivor. I was diagnosed with COVID the 11th of December in 2020, and I don't know how or when or where. I guess no one does. But I had come home, and I was feeling bad, and my temp kept going up. So my daughter and I went to the emergency room. We both were diagnosed at the same time. Mine was worse than hers. So he sent us home with some meds to take. And somewhere during that week, my mind is kind of foggy. I can't remember a lot. But I do remember that she said I passed out. I didn't know anything about that. And so she had called an ambulance. And when I come to, I was on the floor. So I asked her what was I doing down there, and she told me that I had passed out. And she had called an ambulance, so I felt okay, and she was trying to get me up, so I said, well, just leave me down here, so I was so heavy. And I told her to leave me down there. And so she went to the door looking for the ambulance, and when she came back, I had got up. And then they came, and they took me to the hospital to check out my head to see if I had any kind of damages. So everything was clear. And then they said they was going to admit me. So they admitted me in the hospital, and I can't remember a lot that went on, but I was on the COVID floor for 19 days. And I do remember the physical therapist coming in from time to time. I remember that after I had been discharged and come home. And they was wanting me to sit up. So all they wanted me to do was just sit up on the side of the bed. And I couldn't even do that. I was so, they called it weak, but I didn't think it was weak. It was, I don't know what it was. It just felt like I had a heaviness or something. I couldn't move. But anyway, I stayed on the COVID floor for 19 days. And after I left the COVID floor, I couldn't walk. So I had to learn how to walk all over again. So I stayed in rehab for 20 days. So I was there a total of 39 days. And rehab, learning how to walk, which I finally did. And right now, I'm still a little weak in my legs. And I still get tired quicker than usually. It might be due to old age too, but I get tired. I can do some things sometime longer, and then the next time I go to do it is shorter. And that's about it. I just thank God I'm here to tell the story, because they was getting ready to put me on the ventilator. And when they gonna put you on a ventilator, that's when they let your family come. So they had let my daughter come to see me. But when she came in to see me, she told me she had talked to me, and she had fed me, and I don't remember any of that. But God took care of me the whole time I was in there. And also at one point, I told her that since they don't let them come and visit me, she had come to visit me. And she said to me, she said, I love you, but no matter how much we love each other, sometimes we got to let go. And I said, okay. And so we were fast forwarding and backing up. So I had asked her, I said, if you couldn't come see me, how did they let you come in to tell me this? And she looked at me and she said, I hadn't been to see you. I hadn't told you that. It was my mind that was being fought. And I also remember saying, I will live and not die. I remember saying that several times. But anyway, God brought me through. He took me from the light oxygen to the heavy flow oxygen. But I'm here, and I praise God for that. I thank God for him. And I had my shot. I took it. I had said before I went to the hospital, I will not take the shot. I don't care what nobody say. They can't make me take it. After I come from the hospital, I said, Keisha, go and register me to take the shot. No one had to tell me, and I thank God that he put it on my heart to take it.
First question.
Can you read me right?
Yeah. To Lou Esther. So what do you say to people who say that the COVID-19 is a hoax?
It's not a hoax. I never thought it was a hoax. I didn't know how bad it was until I got it. And after I got it, and they thought once I wasn't going to survive. But God had the last say, so that's one reason.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Another question for you. Did you have the COVID during the worst part of the pandemic, or what do you think?
The worst part, I'm not sure because when they was announcing on TV, started like in March, and I had it in December. It was during a rough part because before that time, I lost a lot of loved ones,
Mm-hmm.
friends, the relatives.
Mm-hmm.
hmm
And you talked about your treatment.
Um, when I was in the hospital, they gave me a lot of breathing treatments.
Okay.
Then they gave me, I don't know what you call it, but it was plasma, I guess, what it is, what they took from the previous people that had COVID. And then they gave it to the people that was going through with COVID then. So I don't know what other kind of treatment. They may have told me, but like I say, I don't remember.
You don't remember?
But I know it did something because they had my arms stuck all up, both arms, and they were coming in here. We're going to take some blood, or we're going to do this or do that, but I don't know what it was.
Okay.
I can't remember if they told me or not.
Do you think those treatments you had made a difference?
I'm hoping that they did. I'm hoping
Okay.
that they did because I was in there, I survived, and there were some that didn't survive. I don't know if we were having the same treatments or not, but
Mm-hmm.
I just pray, that we'll get better or they can do more to help.
So did you say they was getting ready to put you on the ventilator?
hmm
Okay, why didn't they?
I think my daughter told me that I was getting better. I'm not really sure. Like I said, my mind was fogged. But I didn't know they was going to put me on there.
You didn't know
I
that.
didn't know until after everything was over. Yeah.
Mary Helen,
Mm-hmm.
I have a question for you. What do you say when people tell you that COVID-19 is a hoax?
I tell them that's not true because it's real. COVID-19 is real. I had it, and I lost someone that I love very dear to it.
And you say you was diagnosed at the beginning of COVID-19?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. What kind of treatment did they give you? Or did they give you any treatment?
Actually, the treatment they gave me when I was there, they gave me was IV. They did a culture on my bowel because I kept diarrhea, and they thought something else was going on with me because I just kept diarrhea, and then I got weak from it. Even though when they dismissed me and I came home, only thing they gave me was um one of them things what you can
A breather?
a breather. That's all they gave me when I came home.
What do you call it?
Breathing pump.
Mhm.
Yeah. hmm
Okay.
No medication at all. When I was dismissed from the hospital, no medication at all. All I had was the breathing pump. That's it.
Okay.
But I had a nurse would call me every day, and she would tell me to go out in the sun, stay in the sun as long as I could. Just get out there and walk around in the sun. She said that's good vitamin D for you. Every day she would call me, go out there and walk in the sun. hmm
Okay.
And my husband, when they put him in the hospital that night, and then next morning I called his room. He answered the phone, and I said, "You out of breath?" He said, "I can't hardly breathe." And he said, "I'm gonna call you back," but that was the last of it. I never did hear any more from him. Sure didn't. They did while he was in the hospital. They did FaceTime with the children. You know, they said that if you talk to him, he was on the ventilator. If you talk to him, he can hear you, but he can't say anything. So the kids, they would do FaceTime. The nurse would do FaceTime with them, but he never spoke another word afterward. Never.
After hearing from these two survivors, I would like to admonish you or encourage you to please get vaccinated.
Please get vaccinated. I had said I wasn't, but I did, and I'm glad I did.
please get vaccinated. I didn't have no doubt in my mind about getting vaccinated because I was so thankful that God pulled me through it.
And finally, I'd like to agree with what everyone else has said about getting vaccinated. You know, a friend of ours, the Reverend Odell Barnes, said it in a way that for those who say God will take care of you, and I believe He will, but the good Lord offers us salvation, and we have to take it.
Right.
So take that vaccination. That's one way the Lord is saving us. And thank you. And stay tuned because we have other survivors who you'll be hearing from throughout the month. Thanks. And again, the National Council of Negro Women, Okolona Section, wants to encourage each of you through Good Health Wins to get out there and get a vaccine. Get vaccinated.
Yes.
Good Health Wins. Thanks.